Okay, good morning, you lovely New Zealanders, not Aotearoa rights. We're all New Zealanders. We've got 160 cultures living in this country, and we should all be treated absolutely equally, with no special favours to any culture whatsoever. That is called democracy. Okay, what we're doing is we've been discussing Tikanga, which is Maori law, philosophies, religion, beliefs. It's really a set of religious beliefs, in my opinion. We've been going through a book, a chapter of a book by Adam Plover called The Benefits of Colonization, which I hope you all can get a copy of this and read it for yourself. But I'm going through a particular chapter 16 of this book, which is very good about Tikanga. Now, what we need to understand is that there are radical Maori who are trying to introduce Tikanga into New Zealand law and make it part of New Zealand law, which would be an absolute disaster, and we must stop that from happening, because then the judicial system is going to be taken over by radical Maori, and that'll be the end of New Zealand for absolutely certain. So today we're carrying on from where we left off last time in part 6, and let's just read together. In making false assertions that Tikanga was a system of law, Williams, that's the Judge Williams, Joe Williams, was either woefully ignorant of the law, history, and the Constitution of New Zealand, or he was being deliberately deceitful. In either of these events, it is questionable as to whether Joe Williams is fit to be a proper person to be a lawyer, let alone a judge in the Supreme Court, the top court in New Zealand. Adam Plover goes on to say Williams tried to introduce the fiction of Tikanga in the Peter Ellis case in the Supreme Court and was supported in his error by another judge, Susan Glazebrook. Now what happened was Peter Ellis had died. That was the guy who was charged with sex offences and so on. He died, and they were just going to shut the case, and the Joe Williams and Glazebrook said no. According to Tikanga, he's living on, he's alive, and he's and so they kept the case open, kept it all going because of Tikanga. In this case, these ignorant and mischievous judges applied the non-law Tikanga instead of our common law. Well, Robert Jones said this was the greatest disgrace in our legal history. Robert Jones said that. While prominent lawyer and ACT MP Stephen Frank said, quote, they, the judges, that's Glazebrook and Joe Williams, have made without any mandate from the people they now intend to rule the right to make law. They are judges who want to be kings. That's a very, very good comment. So what's happening is these judges are becoming like Parliament. They're assuming the same role as Parliament to make laws and statutes, and now they've taken over. So we have a whole stable of activist judges now who are really having a gigantic tussle with the government to assume superiority. And right in the middle of all this is the Waitangi Tribunal as well, because it's doing the same thing. And what this is it's really a coup at the highest level of our nation, where the government is being challenged by the Waitangi Tribunal, by activist judges. Now, for Stephen Franks, who's a pretty heavy-hitting lawyer, to come out and say that is a big deal. And just as the cancer spreads, so does the judicial falsehood that Tikanga was a pre-1840 system of law. It goes on. Now, you would have heard about the beaches of New Zealand are about to be taken over by Maori. and it's highly likely it's already happening. Some of our coastline has already been gifted to Maori. In the High Court case of Edwards, and that case is about the claims by tribes for large swathes of foreshore and seabed in the east of Bay and Plenty, Judge Peter Churchman, who's an activist judge, ignored the clearly stated intention of the democratically elected Parliament of New Zealand by putting the non-law tikanga above the requirement in the Marine and Coastal Act S58 that a claimant must prove that its members have exclusively used and occupied their claimed area from 1840 to the present day. Now this has it's called MACA, which is an acronym for Marine and Coastal Act, and if you look in the description of this video below, we produced a brochure, a flyer that you can get from us, from Stop Co-Governance, and start distributing it in your area, because most to letterboxes in your street or your area, because most there's also a phone number there that you can call and you can get them delivered to your house, because we need to make New Zealanders aware of this, that we're about to lose all the beaches, nobody knows what's going on, and this guy Churchman has just ignored what Parliament has originally intended for that act. That's the Marine and Coastal Act. He's just ignored that and overruled it with tikanga. And he's made it possible now for, there's apparently 600 claims have been lodged by Maori for this coastline around New Zealand out to 12 nautical miles. Can you believe it? So we're about to lose all the beaches, and New Zealanders don't know about this. It's called MACA. Now I'm going to put some links in the description below so that you can see what's going on. And please, 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 would you order some of the little brochures and get them out to people in your neighborhood? And you can click on the link to see what they look like. They're a full color brochure, which is going to alert Kiwis to what the heck is going on in New Zealand. And do you know, when Maori put in a claim for their part of the coastline, we're talking about the entire coastline of New Zealand possibly coming under iwi control. When they put in a claim, they can claim up to $485,000 per claim from the government. That's us. So we're really paying for the takeover of New Zealand. You must get up to speed with this Marine and Coastal Act, and really fast, because it's a very serious thing and it's flying under the radar. The media is ignoring it deliberately so that it can go through without anybody knowing. So please look at the links in the description, get some brochures, start hanging them out in your neighborhood, and let's get going on this to stop this before it completely wrecks this country. See you tomorrow.